PvP is just disappointing. I came back after a while for fun, and man, it's still the same slop as before. Assault just messes everyone up with Hammer for an almost insta-kill and still undefendable upon the dive. If it wasn't limited to only 2 per class, I fully believe almost everyone would play Tactical, Assault, or Sniper. Okay. Man, Bulwark is very fun in PvP, dude. Honestly, just reading this kind of makes me want to jump into PvP. I did kind of get an itch to return to PvP, at least before Siege, so hopefully, you know, I can find some time to do that. But yeah, I mean, I agree. The Assault class is kind of wild in PvP. I just feel, I don't like spammy game mechanics. Like, if you need to just keep repeating the same thing over and over again to make it feel more effective, like that just gets a little bit annoying for me, to be completely honest. I like to mix it up. However, I have to admit, I do like the jetpack in PvP. I think it needs a little bit of a cooldown between uses. But yeah, ultimately, the Assault class can definitely just jump up and down and beat people to death in PvP, and it can be a little bit much. But let's continue this post. Trust me, I am getting somewhere with this. The other 3 are not great, and easily the worst is Vanguard. Whoa. Like, the class is just completely bad. Heavy is good with team play, but again, Assault can just corner peek from the air into 2-hit combo with AoE, and if they aren't paying attention, go into fully charged ground slam for the triple plus kill. And Bulwark is fun until, again, Assault can just leap into the air and 2-shot you. He does have a point about Bulwark and Heavy having a tough time with Assault slams. I think the Melt is pretty good for, you know, dealing with the slams, but sometimes you kind of have to rely on somebody else to clean it up. But if you get an Assault player, like, you know, within the range of a Melta, they're definitely going to be within lethal damage. Like, seriously, it's going to be pretty easy to take out Assault players with the Melta. It's just all about timing and, yeah, playing around your team and whatnot. Parrying in PvP is just useless. Oh, interesting. All right. Well, let's finish the post, but we will come back to that. Even on Bulwark, a melee-focused class gets very little from the parry. With the did something. What? With the devs did something about it because I can see the vision of it, and I do like it, but man, is it clear how bust certain classes are over others, and how literally nothing has changed in about 8 months. I do admit PvP 100% needs a legitimate patch, and it's kind of disappointing to see PvP kind of just put to the side for this long. I do hope PvP gets a legitimate patch. So I definitely wanted to make a PvP video just to, you know, further reiterate that I enjoy PvP, you should try it, and the devs are kind of putting it in a bad spot because of lack of patches. And one of the biggest improvements, is, you know, obviously adjusting Assault for PvP so it's not just spammy slams all over the place. I get that. And yes, Assault can hard counter Bulwark and Heavy a little bit. Heavy, you can still hit him with the Heavy Bolter. You can still hit the Assault class with the Heavy Bolter. Tactical's really good against Assault because you can ping it out of the air. You can scan it. Sniper, same thing, ping it out of the air. But, okay. The one thing I think that is actually a little bit interesting here is the parrying in PvP. This person says it's useless, and I think maybe we are going about parrying in PvP wrong. Now, this clip is called "Parrying is Pointless in PvP," and we see an Assault player right there go for that slam. Luckily, they played around the wall. Dude, and look at that. That was beautiful. That was a Sniper taking out the Assault in its own territory of melee. And here's the key to this, is those quick hip fire attacks. This is such a good clip. The poster here is named 0352. Okay, so shout out to that player. Also, by the way, sometimes it's hard to identify who in the comments is posting what post or whatever. It will definitely make it a little bit easier if you have the same name. But yeah, ultimately that's not really an issue. But okay, see, that is not parrying, that is blocking. Let's be a little bit clear about this. They are blocking the Assault class and getting chip damage within the blocks. However, I have to admit, this is the best clip that I've ever seen show the actual usefulness of being able to block in PvP. This clip pretty much made me want to go back to PvP. Like, I have to be honest. This is a great play. That is the PvP buster, the Assault class right there, getting absolutely outplayed because they are playing as aggressive as they're supposed to play with that class. They definitely could have played around the blocking there if they went for a charged attack. However, as you can see with the Sniper, they are very low. If the Sniper gets hit with one melee attack, they are pretty much over. And yes, the sniper still stayed composed and was able to block the consecutive melee attacks here. Very impressive. Now, of course, this isn't parrying. However, a lot of people think this type of mechanic is absolutely useless, and it's not. As you can see right here, this sniper is outplaying the meta PvP Buster assault class within its own territory in a sense because of the melee. And I do think, obviously, the sniper's playing the bolt carbine here, so ultimately, the sniper's actually in a pretty weird spot to pick off the assault when it's in the air. So yeah, playing around the walls, definitely very key to avoid the assault slams right here. And yes, if you are playing sniper, definitely bring out the bolt carbine, but you got to make sure you catch assault players while they're on the ground to finish this class off. Obviously, this assault player was likely using a lot of his jetpacks on the point. Oh wait, no, this isn't even point. This is team deathmatch. Interesting. So yeah, I mean, overall, still play within your team in PvP so you can deal with assault players spamming their slams. But still, I have to give credit to this clip. This is a great clip that I think is very interesting in the sense that, hey, maybe blocking isn't as useless as you think. As a Vanguard player, I use the grappling hook right before they fly to trap them, essentially. And it's great, but still, they don't like assault players. The AoE is massive when they slam the hammer. There should be a longer cooldown, not too long, so they can't bunny hop like most usually play. Yeah, I think the benefits for the jetpack should be solely in the fact that they can just jump up in the air very high, higher than operations, and slam down. You know, they basically have their own benefits. I don't mind the 3 charges ultimately. It's just the way they can spam it. And I think, you know, of course, if the jetpack doesn't work the same way as it does in PvP and PvE, I really don't see an issue with, you know, giving them a bit of a cooldown within slams. But still, I don't want the assault class to get absolutely eviscerated in PvP. However, even if you give a little bit of a cooldown within slams, they can still drop grenades. They can still line up some very big plays. They just can't solo an entire team if the team is together anymore. Essentially, it really depends, you know, of course, what the team is using. But yeah, honestly, I still enjoy PvP, but yeah, it can definitely feel like the assault class is a little bit too oppressive. Like, it's pretty much an auto pick in every PvP lobby at the moment. Completely disagree. Vanguard is amazing with the instigator, burst fire with scope, bolt rifle. Yeah, Vanguard definitely has good PvP weapons. I can agree. You run some weird non-existent routes and grapple up vertically onto a surface behind the whole enemy and proceed to wipe them from behind with the scope. Can also do this with melta charge. Yeah, it dominates. Yeah, honestly, meltas are crazy in PvP. But yeah, shock grenades are so strong that people don't even think about the melta. It dominates when you have a team fight going on because you can Gears of War style corner camp with the scope, and anyone that is not a sniper will lose that fight to you because they barely see you. There are specific spots on each map, but a bunch of them allow you to flank or spawn camp better than any other class. Man, people are getting really good at PvP because yeah, I actually this advice here is huge because this is all about positioning, but it takes it into the next level and essentially, you know, adds some cover fire. Yeah, definitely. Maybe this is why PvP is so wild. There's a lot of people who really enjoy it, and then there's a lot of people who just try it out. So then maps, or not maps, but like games can definitely go one-sided. And then as soon as one person leaves, then it turns into a steamroll. And yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, even if you take out, like, not even take out, but if you nerf assault, if you nerf shock grenades, those issues are still going to be there. And they're not really like a game-centered issue. It's not really because of Space Marine 2. Like, we can all think of a PvP game where leaving a game just kind of screws up the entire game. So, yeah, I mean, if you have a better way to do it. See, for me, the only thing I think PvP needs is like a leaderboard, something to give you incentive to just stay in the game, even if it's a loss, and to increase the experience overall. But I'm pretty sure they did something to buff the experience in PvP, but I haven't tried out PvP since patch 6, I think. But yeah, hey, maybe it's time to go back for it for at least a session or two. The Instigator will out DPS most other non-sniper weapons in the game if you get into a straight shooting match, and it's easier to land headshots with the tacticals gun. Oh, it's easier to land headshots than the tactical's gun. The instigator, yeah, probably. The instigator's pretty good. I mean, I guess they're assuming they're talking about like the bolt rifle with tactical's gun. I mean, stalker's pretty accurate as well, but I mean, the instigator might even out DPS the stalker. But okay, yeah, I love the instigator. It's so good. I think assault is OP. If you are a bulwark main who just drools everywhere and can't get any kills, heavy is also insanely good. Wait, I think assault is OP if you are a bulwark main who just drools everywhere and can't get any kills. Is that so? Are people really kind of pushing back on the assault is OP thing in PvP? Because that's, look, I don't want to say like that's a get good issue as far as dealing with assault, but no, like assault has plenty of OP issues. Just being able to jump up and down gets them out of the range of meltas. It gets them out of the range of melee attacks. And they can just trade with it. Like honestly, assault classes on their bar is basically an immediate slam into a charge attack. So you get like an insta kill straight on your bar, and then it goes into trading. So even bad assaults are pretty much packed. Pretty much are they're pretty much equipped to be able to get a kill and get a trade, even if they're bad at it. Like, it's not so much as like, oh, you just have to be good to play around assault. It's like, no, assault's OP because it absolutely kind of like trivializes any engagement PvP has, just in the sense where it can jump down and spam the, going up and down. That's not a very satisfying way to play or a satisfying thing to look at, is just somebody jumping up and down directly on top of the team. That's like, geez, I get there's counterplay, and I get assault, I get that assault can be played around or whatever. Like, yeah, sure, the sniper can ping him out of the air, but it's a lot easier to be a bad assault player than a bad sniper and make an effect on the game. This is so weird. This is literally the exact different this is the exact different conversation of talking about assault in PvE. But I think again, yeah, it's so weird. It's like assault has to jump through more hoops for to get more builds essentially in PvE. There's you got to make sure you're good at perfect dodging, your timing, your slams correctly. You got to make sure that you are, of course, comfortable with fencing or blocking, and you have ammo management. There's just so much going on with assault, whereas other classes are pretty much just like, hey, I can just use whatever I want whenever I want. But in PvP it's different. Assault's kind of like, oh, I can just turn my brain off and be the best guy in the lobby. And unless they have a player who's actually good at PvP, I should be fine. You know what I mean? Or not only that, they have to be a player who's actually good at PvP, who is playing around their team and also pinging the assault in the air. Like, see, yeah, even the counter to assault it takes a lot more effort to stop a bad assault player than a bad heavy player, bad tactical player. Anyone who's just going to stay on the ground, essentially, and if they're bad at PvP, they're going to be a lot easier to approach. With assault, they can just simply flank you if they really want to. They can jump up in the air, and on console, by the way, it's a little bit more difficult to actually look up and aim at the assault. You kind of have to make sure when he's pretty much falling down, when he's going to go for the slam, you really need to make sure that you pretty much ping him as he's falling down. And like it's a lot more difficult to do that with a paddle than a mouse. So I feel like a lot of people think assault is OP, especially on console, whereas maybe on PC when you have players with mouse and keyboard, it might not be that difficult. I can understand that for sure. But okay, let's continue. Yeah, assault conversations are getting weird, but yeah, trust me, I'm done whining about assault. I have a few assault videos that I'm actually pretty psyched about. I feel like a lot of assaults, as far as PvE. Just to, point this out since, I was talking about it. I feel like a lot of assault's capabilities come through perfect dodging, which still is a little bit more difficult than playing with other classes where they just need to, parry or whatever. But getting a nice perfect dodge is pretty easy with assault once you get used to it. So I really enjoy that type of playstyle. So yeah, maybe the jumping up and down slamming playstyle is not something that appeals to me too much. But the perfect dodging is starting to appeal to me a lot more. So I feel like perfect dodging maybe can have a spot in PvP, but unlikely. But okay, let's finish this comment. This is a 7-minute talk. Holy God. This one comment was 7 minutes, dude. Jesus. Yeah, I'll figure that out, guys. Sorry. But yeah, let's continue. Heavy is also insanely good, and the heavy bolter lets you spray all the assault out of the air. 2-time heavy bolter is the hard counter to 2 times assault. Yeah, sheesh. I mean, look, this is why I like PvP, because it ultimately comes down to the map, how you engage the enemy, your patience, what weapons you have. But the heavy bolter against assault, yeah, I agree. That is a good counter. However, does the assault see you first? You know, I guess it all depends. Ultimately, hey, maybe there's some pushback on how OP assault is in PvP. Some people think the shot grenades are a bigger problem. To me, I think they're both kind of like the one thing the devs need to adjust just so every class is in a better spot, because ultimately the shot grenades, again, are kind of like a tactical, like spam strat, essentially, because tactical can come down with an extra grenade, throw 2 shot grenades. No other class can do that. Still, tactical, scan, very fun. Most of PvP is very balanced. You just really have to play around your team. And also know the map, as this guy mentioned with the Vanguard. I'm also glad to see some Vanguard strats there. That was cool. But yeah, ultimately, let me know in the comments if you guys have been playing PvP. I'm glad I was able to see somebody actually use the parry system, well, the blocking system in PvP to its full advantage. And yeah, ultimately, maybe PvP just gets better as time goes on, because more people are going to learn about it, more people are going to get better at it. But it might make some games feel a little bit one-sided if you got one really good assault player on one team, and then the other team just has a really good bulwark player. You know what I mean? That can, you know, that is the reason some of these games get a little bit out of control really early, and then players leave. Yeah, ultimately, please give PvP something. PvP deserves an update. PvP deserves a balanced update. There are people who still clearly enjoy PvP, and I think it's a very fun mode. It's the only, like, honestly, I don't really play too much PvP nowadays, but if I do, I really just want to play Space Marine 2 PvP, because it's a really nice in and out PvP. You don't have to worry too much about grinding for like particular weapons or anything. Once you get a good PvP weapon and a good PvP build, you're set. You know, you don't have to, you know, do all that extra grinding for whatever reason. It would be nice to see some new weapons in PvP. We do get some new weapons in PvP, but yeah, ultimately nothing too intense. I did hear the Inferno pistol's pretty good. The Neo Volkite seems like okay, but in PvP, a lot of the basic stuff is very good. Like the auto bolt rifle is very good in PvP. So, yeah, regardless, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this, and thanks for watching.